Hey, what's going on, everybody? We're back with today's question. This one says, Vinny, I love your YouTube and I've been watching a bunch of your content. I'm curious, how do I know when I've finally found the root cause? I'm afraid I'm going to continue to work with the client and it may be overkill, or if I quit too early and haven't found the root cause, we might wind up needing more sessions and more work in the future. How do you think I should address this? Okay, so this is actually a really cool question because one of the most important things to understand that I teach my students is like, it's not about finding the root cause per se. The insights, the clarity, the breakthrough, that all happens almost as like a byproduct of exploring the nature of the real problem. Through exploring what the root cause could be, that's where the mind starts to open up. And then that's where the unconscious phenomena happens. And then you see, like you've seen in the demos and in the videos where we work the way we work. So yeah, I hope that helps. So to think that you would actually know the root cause, that's kind of out there, right? Like how would you know? It's not like you explore long enough with a client and their unconscious mind goes, "Hey, you found it." Right? That's not what happens. It's unconscious. So I think I'm glad you brought this up. I think it's a really important distinction to make. It's not so much about finding the exact root cause, understanding the process of exploring it. This is where the insights will come in the hypnotic phenomena, all the really fun stuff that we do when we're working in an organic way. I have seen a lot of content out there from other hypnotists. And look, whatever works for people works for them. We all work differently. I do sometimes wonder because they'll say stuff like, well, the root cause is always anxiety, it's always fear, it's always childhood trauma, it's always, they'll have sort of a conclusion in mind that they're working from. And I just don't feel comfortable working that way. I have sessions where people just talk about anything but the presenting problem, right? We might acknowledge it in the beginning, but once we start exploring what's really going on, it's just completely irrelevant. And as the insights continue to emerge spontaneously for that individual, it's like their whole life changes because it's almost like we fixed everything around the problem and then the problem goes away. It's almost like it doesn't have something that it can stick to anymore. And the reason I choose to work this way is because I'm sure you've experienced this in your life where maybe you have a specific problem and it just has a way of showing up in a bunch of different areas in your life. Like I'll see this with people that want to quit smoking. It's like they want to quit smoking, but then there's maybe this thing about self-esteem, and maybe there's a thing about they don't believe in themselves. They might articulate the same type of idea a bunch of different ways because they're doing their best to articulate something that's unconscious. And they might talk about connections with family members, things like that. So to the extent we were to focus on the symptom and not help that client create resources and reorient their understanding of that problem and themselves in relation to it, it's like, yeah, the symptom could be addressed temporarily, but that was never really the problem. Once something goes wrong over here, there's a good chance they go back to the symptom, right? Unless maybe they've developed a coping mechanism, hopefully, by then or something. So that's why we're working in a different way. We really just explore everything else, and it's fascinating like that. So I hope that helps. I think that to summarize, the big takeaway is that it's not so much about finding the root cause that creates the insight. It's the process of exploring, that journey of exploring it. That's what creates the insights, right? So yeah, if you have any more follow-up questions about that, please fire away. I think this is a very interesting subject, and I could see where there's a lot of, I probably have a bit of a unique opinion on it, so I'm happy to share more. All right, take care, everybody.